Have you ever experienced a moment where everything just clicked? A profound sense of connection, maybe. Clarity, purpose. Where time seemed to dissolve and your everyday felt infused with something, well, extraordinary. For those of you already exploring things like mindfulness or expanded states of consciousness, our deep dive today takes us into the God state and the waking state. And these definitions come from a truly unique collection of sources we've gathered. Our mission here is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights, really. We want to reveal how these profound states aren't some distant ideals, but maybe accessible practices right here, right now, offering perhaps a shortcut to being deeply well-informed about higher consciousness, emotional mastery, and, living a life infused with meaning.
That's right. And these aren't your typical self-help guides, are they? We've got some truly intriguing material here, everything from practical exercises you can try in daily life to exploring these quite complex divine paradoxes and even handling the more, let's say, surreal aspects of consciousness. Yeah, our sources promise some surprising facts, some real aha moments that might just reframe how you see your own reality, pushing beyond maybe some common assumptions you already hold.
Okay, let's unpack this then. When we hear the God state, I think many of us might picture some, distant spiritual peak, reserved for only the most enlightened few, maybe? But what's truly fascinating in our sources is how they radically reframe this. They suggest it's not about achieving a peak at all. It's more about uncovering something already present within you, almost like a forgotten default setting, you could say. It's framed as an invitation, really, an invitation to experience life from a higher perspective, a continuous practice, rather than a destination.
Precisely. Yeah, our sources define the God state as a way of aligning with your deepest truths, your highest potential, accessing a level of consciousness that moves beyond our usual stuff, habitual thoughts, fears, limitations. And this lets you live from a place of, peace, clarity, and connection. So you're not just reacting to the world all the time. You're engaging with it consciously, actively co-creating your reality with intention, with presence. And what's crucial, I think, is that it's presented as more than just a spiritual concept. It's a practical way of being, where emotions become tools maybe for transformation, challenges are seen as opportunities for growth, and relationships, they serve as gateways to deeper understanding.
Okay, so if the God state is about that deep alignment, that different way of being, where does this waking state fit in? Is it like a different path to the same place or something else entirely?
That's a good question. The waking state, as our sources describe it, it's really about being fully present, aware, deeply connected to the moment. They use this beautiful phrase, breathing with the cosmic waves. And it directly acknowledges a common human condition they actually label walking sleep.
Walking sleep.
Yeah, where individuals are basically disconnected from the greater cosmic consciousness around them. It's almost like this widespread sort of unspoken hypnosis maybe, where we move through life's motions without truly recognizing our deeper existence or the intricate web of reality we're actually part of.
That walking sleep image.
Oh, wow.
That resonates. I think a lot of us feel that way sometimes. So does waking up from it involve like an instant jolt? Or is it more gradual?
Well, our sources really emphasize it's a gradual, intentional process.
Yeah.
Something cultivated through specific exercises, specific practices. They actually highlight that reaching a full waking state could feel overwhelming if you don't approach it mindfully.
Right, too much too soon.
Exactly. So the journey is meant to be taken gently, without fear. This gradual approach lets you integrate heightened awareness and what they term deep quantum cosmic connection. Now, that's not necessarily in a strict physics sense, but more to illustrate a profound fundamental interconnectedness. That links everything at the deepest level. Lets you sort of savor these profound insights without feeling totally swamped by them.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do you know? How do you know if you're actually experiencing one of these states? Our sources list some really intriguing indicators, and they're surprisingly relatable, like an overwhelming sense of joy or peace or love that feels like it just fills your entire being.
Or that heightened empathy you mentioned, where you feel others' emotions so intensely, it's almost as if their joy or their sorrow or their experiences are actually your own. You might also start noticing meaningful coincidences, patterns in everyday events, sensing that everything is interconnected, happening for a reason, maybe a profound one.
Yeah, and I've heard people describe a feeling of floating or weightlessness, as if their physical body isn't quite bound by normal physical laws anymore, that kind of thing. Or in acute hyperclarity, like the present moment just snaps into focus, incredibly vivid, brimming with meaning.
And this is where our sources get particularly insightful, I think, because they also point to some really paradoxical signs.
Paradoxical, like what?
Well, you might feel a profound detachment, as if you were merely observing your life, like a witness watching a movie unfold.
Interesting.
Or even this jarring feeling that you've somehow been tricked into waking up. Which might even come with a sense of sadness, thinking, it's always your trip and there is no other trip.
Wow.
Or even feeling like the universe is one big joke and the joke is on you. These are all considered potential indicators of these pretty profound shifts in consciousness.
Okay, so for listeners maybe wondering, right, interesting concepts, but how does this actually apply to my life? What do our sources highlight as the real practical benefits of reaching these states?
Well, the benefits they list are incredibly profound, but also very practical. They highlight enhanced emotional resilience, for one, meaning you can navigate life's inevitable ups and downs with more peace, more balance.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Then there's improved focus and mental clarity, which leads to better decision-making, right?
Sure.
As the mental fog dissolves and you see situations with more intuitive insight, creativity and innovation also tend to increase dramatically.
Yeah.
Because those mental barriers dissolve, allowing ideas to flow more effortlessly. Almost like you're tapping into some universal wellspring of inspiration.
And that liberation from fear you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
sounds like a huge shift. Do the sources give any specific examples? Like, how does this play out in real life decisions?
Absolutely. Beyond the personal stuff, they describe deeper, more compassionate relationships. Because your capacity for empathy and understanding is just heightened.
Right.
And yes, a truly profound benefit is that liberation from fear, especially the fear of death or failure or just the unknown. When you recognize that all experiences are transient, part of a larger flow, individuals become more willing to take risks, perhaps, embrace change, live more fully. Ultimately, it brings this profound sense of inner peace and joy, recognizing that fundamental contentment that underlies all of existence, really, regardless of what's happening outside.
That's a powerful overview. So, okay, how do we actually begin? How do we start cultivating these states? Our sources offer some practical pathways, some techniques that sound very accessible, starting with something they call a 7-day commitment.
Yes, so this commitment is designed to be really approachable. It breaks down into 3 simple daily actions. First, a morning reflection. Just 5 minutes. You remind yourself, I am part of something greater. And you truly allow yourself to feel that connection, whatever that means to you personally.
Okay, 5 minutes. Doable. Then what? Throughout the day, you pick just one daily activity, maybe making coffee, walking to the bus stop, and commit to doing it with full awareness, noticing every detail, really feeling the sensations, the sounds, the difference, I suppose.
Exactly. It could be as simple as savoring your coffee, like you said, or even just washing the dishes.
Yeah.
Full attention. And then finally, an evening check-in. You reflect on just one moment from your day where you felt truly awake or present or connected. And you write it down. Just a quick note. Our sources really emphasize that even if you think you're too busy, maybe especially if you think you are, that's exactly why you need this. Yeah. It forces that moment of intentional presence. They challenge you. Just give it 7 days. See what happens.
7 days. Okay. Beyond these daily habits, our sources point to something else, something powerful for cultivating these states. What are they suggesting about the role of mantras?
Yes. This is where it gets incredibly insightful. They introduce an ancient Sanskrit mantra. Gate Paragate, Parasam Gate Bodhisvaha.
Okay, say that again.
Gate Paragate, Parasam Gate Bodhisvaha. It's a powerful phrase, often translated as something like gone, gone, gone beyond, gone altogether beyond. Oh, what an awakening, all hail. It comes from the Heart Sutra, which is a foundational Buddhist text.
Right.
And it basically encapsulates the entire journey toward spiritual awakening. It breaks it down into phases. Gone signifies departing from conventional reality, our usual way of seeing things. Gone beyond suggests transcending that initial understanding. Gone altogether beyond means complete transcendence, beyond duality, beyond self and other. Then Bodhi is pure, direct awareness. And Svaha is like this joyful affirmation of the awakened state.
Wow. That's a lot packed into one phrase. And the practice itself, is it complicated?
No, it's pretty straightforward. Find a quiet place, set an intention for deeper awareness, then you chant the mantra rhythmically aloud or silently, whatever works for you. You can visualize yourself moving through each phase of that journey as you chant. The idea is that with practice, you'll begin to notice moments of stillness, clarity, maybe direct perception.
Okay, that's the ancient wisdom part. But you mentioned a modern twist.
Yes, and here's a truly unique and frankly quite modern take from our sources. They also introduce a surprisingly relatable mantra. Oh no, not this again.
Wait, seriously? Oh, no, not this again. How on earth does that invoke the God state? It feels so mundane.
That's precisely its genius. It's designed to be self-entrained.
Self-entrained.
Yeah, meaning the repetition itself, like a persistent rhythm or a beat in your head, helps your mind fall into a specific, almost automatic pattern. And that pattern then triggers these particular feelings and insights associated with the state. So when you repeat, oh no, not this again, especially in a moment of recurring stress or chaos, that feeling.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Right. It functions as a tool for instant detachment. And humor. It acknowledges the familiar loop, the pattern you're stuck in, without getting caught in it. It helps you break the tension, lighten the situation. It's a way to step back and reframe the challenge with a bit of a wink, maybe.
That is such a brilliant, completely counterintuitive approach to dealing with everyday stress.
I love that. Okay, so let's say you use these techniques. You have these experiences, these heightened states. How do you come down? How do you get grounded again? It sounds important to return to physical reality without just snapping back and losing the insight.
Yes, integration is vital. Our sources offer several practical techniques for grounding. First, something called grounding touch. You just place your hands flat on a table or the floor or any surface, and you focus intensely on the sensation, the pressure, the texture. Imagine your energy flowing down into the earth, reestablishing that physical connection.
Simple.
Yeah.
Effective. Or they mention a cold water splash on your face and wrists. Gives you a bit of a jolt back to the present, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've even heard of that one being used in therapy sometimes.
It works. Another effective method is feet on earth meditation.
Mm-hmm.
If possible, go barefoot outside. Stand on grass or dirt or even pavement, and truly feel the texture beneath you. Imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet, anchoring you.
And sometimes, something as simple as chewing gum or sucking on a hard candy can be incredibly effective. It engages your taste, your oral senses, brings you sharply back to the present moment. Even reciprocal or shared breathing with a partner, consciously synchronizing your breath, can help draw you back into shared reality, into connection.
Those are fantastic, really practical tips, easy to remember, and for those moments during the day when you just feel lost in thought or completely distracted. There's something called the awareness reset practice. What's that about?
This is a quick reset you can do anytime, anywhere. It's super simple. First step, pause. Just stop whatever you're doing. Second, take a conscious breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Let your attention settle. Third, engage your senses. Explicitly notice 3 things you can see right now.
Okay.
3 things you can hear. 3 things you can feel: the chair beneath you, the air on your skin. And fourth, repeat a grounding phrase. Something like, I am here now, only more so. It's designed to gently but firmly pull your attention back to the present moment, right out of your head.
I am here now, only more so. I like that phrase. Okay, so as you begin to incorporate these practices, you might find your understanding of reality itself starting to shift. And it's at this point that our sources introduce some of their most, mind-bending concepts, starting with a truly thought-provoking exercise, the selfie of God. If God were to take a selfie, what would it look like? It's a bizarre question, isn't it?
It is, but it's a profound visualization exercise. Our sources describe it not as one single face, obviously, but as a mosaic. Countless faces, human, animal, plant, even inanimate objects, all merging and shifting constantly. Part of a single unified image. The eyes. They describe them as deep, infinite pools containing entire galaxies, stars, simultaneously ancient and eternally youthful.
Wow. And a blend of light and shadow, they say, with a fractal frame that branches out into more frames, each containing smaller versions of the same image, reflecting infinity within itself. So the core idea is it's a picture of everything and everyone, everywhere, throughout all of time, an infinite reflection of the universe observing itself. And it boldly asserts everything is everything else. It's always the same day, always the same room, and there is no other.
It's a really powerful way to try and visualize ultimate oneness, isn't it? Which naturally leads directly into the idea of divine paradoxes.
Yeah.
Concepts that really challenge our normal linear understanding, like being both cosmic and earthly at the very same time.
Right, being infinitely vast and minutely small simultaneously. How do we even begin to grapple with that? It feels like a total contradiction.
It does. But our sources present this paradox not as a problem to be solved, but as a key to expanded consciousness. It's like experiencing the entire universe and the tiniest atom within it all at once. connecting to the cosmos while remaining deeply rooted in this present individual moment. It definitely echoes that ancient Hermetic principle. As above, so below.
Ah, yes.
The implication is that really understanding, or maybe just feeling into this paradox, can lead to a profound shift in how you view your own significance and your interconnectedness with everything.
So a practical exercise for that might be meditating on the image of a galaxy inside your heart, or visualizing yourself as just a tiny, tiny dot within a vast, endless universe. Just to explore that feeling of being both grand and small without needing to resolve the apparent contradiction.
Exactly, just holding both perspectives. Another fascinating paradox they explore is the modern and ancient, a timeless dance. This looks at how we hold ancient wisdom while living in our super high-tech world, and how these seemingly disparate realms actually intertwine all the time.
And our sources give some great examples of this, don't they? Like sacred texts, thousands of years old, now instantly accessible, shared on our smartphones, or ancient symbols like mandalas appearing in contemporary art, tattoos, design.
Or even technology itself serving as a path to the divine. Think about virtual reality meditations guided by AI, offering these immersive spiritual experiences that were once limited to physical temples or specific locations. They even touch on modern-day shamanism or neo-paganism, blending old rituals with new contexts, like doing rituals over Zoom or focusing on eco-friendly practices as sacred acts.
The relevance here seems pretty profound. Despite all our technological changes, we're still grappling with the same big existential questions, right? The same spiritual needs as our ancestors had. It's this continuous, timeless dance, and our present moment is just another step in it.
Beautifully put. And speaking of dance, our sources also delve into exploring duality. Embracing contrasts like yin and yang. This means understanding seemingly opposing forces, light and shadow, creation and destruction, stillness and movement, silence and sound is actually interconnected, interdependent. One can't exist without the other. They define each other. And noticing that enhances our awareness of both.
And they suggest a concrete way to experience this, something called a silent noise meditation.
Yes. You start by sitting in silence, really noticing the silence. What does it feel like? Then you introduce a sound, maybe a soft chime or your own humming, or even just ambient sounds from outside. You let the sound rise, notice it, and then let it fall back into silence. This helps you notice how silence and sound aren't really separate things, they define each other. And it enhances your overall awareness of the present moment and that interplay of opposites within it.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly enriching, but let's be real. Maintaining these elevated states, it can't always be easy. Our sources are very honest about the common pitfalls in maintaining the God state. What are some of the biggest challenges they identify?
Yeah, they don't shy away from the difficulties. One primary challenge is simply emotional overload. Daily stressors, setbacks, intense interactions. They can trigger strong emotions like anger, fear, sadness. And those emotions can quickly pull you right out of your centered state.
Oh, definitely.
So our sources recommend something called a pause practice. Committing to pausing before you react. Take a deep breath, ground yourself for a second, remind yourself, I am observing, not reacting. It just creates that crucial little space for choice.
Right, that gap. So it's about not getting totally swept away. What about the internal stuff? The constant mental chatter?
Ah, yes. Habitual negative thinking.
No,
Self-doubt, criticism, just endlessly ruminating. That can definitely pull you into a loop, keep you stuck in your head. The solution they suggest is mindful awareness. Observing thoughts without judgment, simply labeling them, thinking, and allowing them to pass without getting attached.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Of course. Journaling or using affirmations can also help to actively reframe those patterns over time.
And I can definitely relate to the next one. Distractions and just general busyness in modern life. It feels like a constant battle for our attention, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Phones buzzing, emails pinging, endless to-do lists. It fragments our attention, makes sustained presence really difficult. The powerful solution here, according to the sources, is scheduling intentional, non-negotiable breaks for reconnection, even just 5-minute breathing exercises scattered through the day, or turning off notifications for short bursts. It's about actively creating sacred time for presence amidst the chaos.
And sometimes, ironically, the very desire to stay in the God state can become a pitfall itself, leading to expectations or perfectionism.
That's a really subtle but important trap. Striving to be perfectly calm or spiritually elevated all the time can actually pull you into lower states through self-criticism and guilt when you inevitably fall out of it. Because you will.
Right, nobody's perfect.
Exactly. So the solution our sources emphasize is self-compassion. letting go of the need to be perfect, recognizing that falling out of the state is natural, it's temporary, and every single moment is a fresh chance to return without judgment. And finally, they also warn of ego traps like spiritual pride or judging others who aren't there yet, which fundamentally disconnects you, of course. The remedy is practicing humility, maintaining a beginner's mind.
It even sounds like our sources suggest that feelings like despair and cynicism, they aren't necessarily things to avoid. They can actually be part of this whole experience.
That's a profound and, perhaps challenging insight from our sources. They suggest embracing these difficult feelings as part of the divine experience, rather than trying to escape them.
Embracing despair, how does that work?
Well, it includes acknowledging what they call the futility of creation, this idea that everything loops back, the cyclical nature of existence. It's about sitting with the weight of meaninglessness, maybe, feeling the boredom of what they call eternal return, or even recognizing the cynicism in your own divine game, as they put it. These aren't presented as failures, but as ways to fully inhabit the state by accepting all facets of it, rather than resisting the darker feelings.
Okay, that's deep. And then there are these things called Bardo experiences. You describe them as intense, surreal, often horrifying or overwhelming experiences that can feel incredibly disorienting. Are these like what's described in, say, the Tibetan Book of the Dead? Or is it a unique concept from these sources?
Our sources definitely seem to draw inspiration from the Tibetan Buddhist concept of Bardo, which usually describes those intermediate states like between life and death.
Yeah.
But they apply it more broadly here to intense transitional states of consciousness that you can encounter while alive. These experiences, often manifesting as projections of one's own mind, fears, hopes, archetypes, can be truly vivid and, pretty challenging.
So if you find yourself in something like that, something so intense, maybe terrifying, how do you navigate it?
Our sources offer several powerful techniques for this. One is radical reframing. Consciously seeing it as a vision, like a movie playing on a screen, that cannot actually harm you. It's a temporary projection.
Okay, detach.
Right. You can also try engaging with compassion, actively sending love or positive energy towards terrifying forms, which can sometimes dissolve their threatening appearance. Another surprising tactic is invoking humor.
Humor, when facing something horrifying.
Yeah. Visualize the monsters doing something utterly absurd, like slipping on a banana peel or wearing funny hats. It helps disarm the fear response.
I can see that working.
And simply repeating, "This will pass," just reminding yourself of its impermanence. Or even boldly commanding the figures, "Show me your true form," can transform the experience from frightening into something insightful. They even mention symbolic Bardo guides you might encounter, like the mirror guide, the shapeshifter, the cosmic owl, and Bardo landscapes, the whispering forest, the river of shadows, things like that as symbolic representations of inner states or challenges you might be moving through.
Fascinating. Okay, transitioning from those internal challenges, our sources also address managing external pressures, maintaining personal peace in the face of, well, the world. For our listeners wondering, how do you shield yourself from external negativity or anxieties, whatever their source might be?
This is about personal well-being and boundaries. Our sources suggest actively visualizing energetic boundaries, like protective shields or bubbles of light around yourself and your loved ones.
Visualization.
Also, regularly performing cleansing rituals, using things like sage, incense, or essential oils, can symbolically clear your personal space and create a feeling of safety. Another really practical tip is to consciously turn off the noise. Limit your exposure to news cycles or social media feeds that trigger anxiety or frustration. Choose your energetic input more carefully.
That's a big one today.
It really is. Using affirmations of protection is also recommended. Repeating phrases like, "I am protected from all negativity," to reinforce your inner state. And finally, practicing what they call spiritual detachment, learning to observe world events without internalizing them so much, without letting them completely derail your inner peace. It lessens their emotional impact. These techniques are really about empowering you to maintain your own inner equilibrium and sense of safety.
Okay, great practical advice there. So let's bring it back to daily life. How does this heightened awareness, this God state or waking state, translate into truly practical shifts? Let's take some compelling examples that go beyond just generic advice. Say, you're stuck in traffic, a classic frustration trigger.
Right. Instead of the usual spiral into frustration and anger, the perspective from these states allows you to recognize that reaction as often a habitual stress response.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily inherent to the traffic itself. Our sources suggest it's not just about trying to relax, but about intentionally shifting your perception of control.
Control.
Yeah.
Like
recognizing what you can control in that moment, your breath, your thoughts, the music, and what you cannot answer, the traffic jam itself. And consciously choosing to align with a larger flow, even if that flow is currently slow, finding freedom within the constraint.
That's a subtle but powerful shift, or maybe in a workplace conflict, instead of immediately getting defensive.
Exactly. You might intuitively understand that a colleague's objections or criticisms are actually rooted in their own fears or insecurities, or maybe just a bad day. And so you respond from that place of empathy, maybe reassurance, fostering a more cooperative atmosphere instead of just escalating the tension with your own defensiveness. Another subtle example they give is grocery shopping. You might start to recognize how your consumer choices actually reflect your current mindset. Maybe grabbing comfort foods when you feel stressed versus healthier options when you feel calm and centered. This awareness prompts more mindful decisions about what you're bringing into your body, decisions aligned with true nourishment and your inner state.
It really filters down into the smallest things. Now let's revisit that very modern mantra. Oh no, not this again. Our sources really emphasize its versatility. It's not just for general stress. How might, say, an accountant use it?
For accountants, especially during really busy times like tax season, it's a way to release that buildup of stress over looming deadlines. Or when facing a really complex financial puzzle, that moment of, ooh, this problem again, thinking, oh, no, not this again, can actually break the tension. It creates a little mental space, allows for a clearer, less anxious mind to approach the issue.
Okay. And for artists or designers who hit those inevitable creative blocks, which happens to everyone in creative fields.
Absolutely. It helps transform those blocks and the frustration that comes with them into more of a lighthearted moment, hello darkness, my old friend kind of thing.
Right.
It allows the creative flow to return more easily. It's just a quick mental reset, stepping back, reframing the challenge with a bit of humor.
I can totally see how corporate professionals could use this daily.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It can act as a kind of mental shield against office politics, maybe gossip, power struggles, that kind of draining stuff. It allows for inner detachment, injecting a bit of perspective, maybe humor, into an otherwise tense dynamic. And for people in customer service, it's gold.
I bet.
It helps create that crucial mental distance from maybe rude or demanding customers. Helps them stay calm and centered without internalizing all that negativity.
And what about us as podcast producers? How could we apply this mantra?
Well, for us, it could be a wonderful way to release attachment to things like episode downloads or ratings, to stay grounded in the actual joy of the creative process itself, rather than getting caught up in external validation.
Good point.
Or it could help navigate difficult interviews. If things get off track or become challenging, that little internal mantra can help you stay centered, present, and maybe find a lighter way through.
That's a very practical application indeed. Okay, finally, let's talk about emotional alchemy, transforming emotions into power. What does that mean exactly?
This is a core practice discussed in the sources. It's about consciously using your emotions not as obstacles to be suppressed or overcome, but as actual tools for transformation, as a direct path to deeper spiritual connection.
Okay, using emotions as tools. So what are some key exercises for accessing the God state through emotions, according to our sources?
One fundamental one is heart-centered breathing. You simply place a hand on your heart center. Breathe deeply, intentionally imagining you're filling that space with light, with awareness, and on the exhale, you consciously release any heaviness, any tension stored there. Another is emotional labeling and releasing. When a strong emotion arises, anger, fear, even intense joy, you mentally label it, this is anger, okay, this is fear. Then you visualize it, maybe as a sphere of energy, and consciously breathe it out, imagining it dissolving into light as you exhale.
I really like the idea they mentioned of a gratitude shift. That sounds instantly accessible.
It really is. When you feel off balance or maybe overwhelmed, you consciously stop and list 3 things you're genuinely grateful for right now, big or small. But the key is to focus on the feeling of gratitude in your heart. Let that feeling expand. They say this feeling naturally connects you to a higher sense of presence, and it can shift your state very quickly. And lastly, sound vibration alignment. This involves using sound like humming, chanting simple tones, or even just listening to calming music to harmonize your emotional states. Allowing yourself to really feel the vibrations recalibrating your emotional center. Letting sound literally tune your emotions to a higher frequency, you could say.
Letting sound tune your emotions. Fascinating. Okay, let's venture into one final area. The realm of dreams. Our sources say dreams are gateways to the divine. That's a big claim.
It is, but they describe dreams as this rich, often untapped vein for exploring the God experience. Not just random mental noise, but potentially messengers of hidden truths, or even direct communications from higher realms of consciousness. Dream journaling, for example, isn't just about recording what happened last night. It's framed as a way to reveal deeper patterns over time and to open a direct two-way dialogue with your subconscious, maybe even your higher self.
And lucid dreaming takes it even further, right? Where you become aware you're dreaming while you're dreaming.
Exactly. It's presented as a powerful tool to consciously interact with the divine within the dream state itself, allowing you to actively seek encounters, maybe ask specific questions, or receive direct answers or guidance from what feels like a higher source.
And what about nightmares? Most people try to forget those as quickly as possible.
Right, but our sources suggest that even nightmares, often seen as something just to avoid or get over, can hold incredibly powerful messages. They can act as a form of shadow work, helping our spiritual growth. They might reveal deeper truths about our journey by forcing us to confront hidden fears or unacknowledged aspects of ourselves, aspects we need to integrate.
Okay, so this is more than just passive dreaming. How do we actually command our dreams, as the sources put it, or intentionally connect with the divine through them?
The sources provide some really actionable steps, framed almost like commands to your own consciousness. First, upon waking, recall and record. Immediately try to capture dream fragments, setting the powerful intention that these are valuable messages meant for you. Second, before sleep. Ask for clarity. You consciously command your subconscious, or whatever you believe you're connecting to, show me what I need to understand tonight.
Okay. And for nightmares, instead of just waking up scared.
Instead of fleeing, the command is, embrace the shadow. Command yourself within the dream, or as you reflect on it, reveal what I need to see from this. The aim is to turn dark dreams into profound growth opportunities, unlocking their hidden wisdom.
And if you encounter a significant figure in a dream, a guide, an archetype,
You can create divine dialogue. Command, either in the dream or setting the intention, speak with me. It asserts your conscious desire for interaction within that dream space, and ultimately the final command is about integration. Translate into action. After you've reflected on or interpreted a dream, command yourself. Act on the wisdom received. This really emphasizes that dream insights aren't just for fascination. They're meant to be integrated into your waking life, whether that's through a change in mindset, a new habit, or maybe clarity on a path forward.
wow, we have covered a lot of ground today. We've taken a really deep dive into the God state and the waking state, haven't we? From their unique definitions in these sources, their profound benefits, to really practical techniques for cultivation, navigating the inevitable challenges, and even using dreams as this powerful pathway to deeper understanding. I think the core idea running through all our sources really is that these states, they're not exclusive, not distant. They're inherently accessible, offering profound clarity, peace, and purpose right here in your daily life.
Absolutely. And the deep dive, it isn't just about absorbing information, is it? It's really an invitation for you, the listener, to actively engage with your own experience. Every insight, every technique we've discussed today, it's a tool for you to explore, to apply, to see what resonates. It's about transforming this knowledge into your own personal wisdom.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. What if that cosmic key we're all looking for, the key to unlocking higher awareness, deeper connections, a life of really profound meaning, what if it has been within you all along, simply waiting for you to turn it? How might your very next ordinary moment become an extraordinary gateway?